got to get them going here. Andrew, I'm going to put him on the stage. Josh, find you in the list here and put you on. Sometimes this is it's like buggy sometimes. It doesn't do it automatically.
It's like we were sitting in the green room there.
Yeah, you're sitting in the green room.
We were all having fun in the green room.
You getting on, Josh? Is it working? If not, just hit the chat.
Yeah, you had to invite me. I couldn't.
I know, it was weird.
Yeah, what was up with that? I didn't even check.
But Josh, if you can hear us, just turn your camera on and you'll be there.
Turn the camera on, you should be good.
Oh,
maybe he's suffering the Microsoft Edge curse, like we were just talking about.
Yeah. Well, let's get on with it, anyways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add him one back in again one more time. Then we're gonna go. Then we'll get rolling. One more time. Put him on the screen. There we go. Got it. Just had to redo it, man.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
It's just the way it is.
There we go.
All right.
Technology.
We're rolling live here on LinkedIn as well. Welcome everyone to the Exit Your Way Roundtable. Once again, Thursdays. If you haven't been here before, glad to have you. It looks like we've had a lot of returning people here, which is freaking awesome. Today we got Josh Curcio a little bit later talking about inbound marketing. Andrew and I are up here on the stage with us, helping keep the things rolling for us and providing that awesome comments along with our guests here. So we're going to start out again, as we usually do, with the introductions and our question of the week. We had, and this one's not even hard, but it's going to be funny. So hopefully it'll be funny. Maybe it's not funny, but great to see everyone here. The conversations as we got started this morning were awesome as usual. Love the discussions and the sharing. So today, when we bring you on, you're going to do your introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then I want to have you explain, when you were 18, who was your favorite band and musician, and who is that or same band or musician today? Real simple. So, Andrew, who we got coming up first?
Let's see. Why? Oh, you know what? Well, let me see here. You're going to have to do it. For some reason, I'm not a host today. That's why I'm having issues. Okay. Ira, can you?
Right. Oh, this is weird.
Can I do what? I'm sorry.
Can you bring people up by hitting the participants where it says to bring them on stage? That's weird, Andrew. That you're not.
I can.
Cool. Go ahead and do her, man. That'd be awesome.
All right, Andrew, come on up, my friend.
All right.
Pull up another one too at the same time, and then
all right, Brad Smith.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on up. Turn on your cameras.
Andrew, how you doing, man?
Doing well.
Cool background. Loving it. That looks great.
Thanks. It'll blow your mind what we do with this thing.
Andrew, are you? Andrew and I were talking about this yesterday.
Oh crap! I just got COVID.
Yeah, you said
that wasn't a fart, was it?
Yeah, well, that's what. Yeah, if you watch the Christmas,
I'm better now.
The Christmas video my wife made for our family on Facebook, my son is actually blowing a fart with it turns into flames. So pretty funny. So go ahead, Andrew.
Favorite band when I was 18, singer.
Well, explain what you do first.
What do I do?
Yeah, or how you help.
I come on these meetings and create havoc. No, I do programs as a fractional chief marketing officer that help companies convert every touch into voracious advocates for their brand. We work globally. We have contacts in about 120 countries to take American products abroad, and we go strategy first to take your company to the next level.
Cool. Well, great seeing you here today, Andrew. It's awesome. I would tell you, we got the chat rolling on LinkedIn like crazy today for some reason, which is cool as well. Glad to see you people there trying to get them up. So Brad Smith, tell us a little bit about yourself and answer our infamous question of the day.
Okay. So I help CEOs, business owners add, if they've got enough courage, zeros to their revenue, right? Zeros. I love that. Not just double it, I add zeros. So other than that, and guide them through that process. So my favorite band, I had several, but I had to look it up. Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf was my favorite song at that time.
Boom.
The only thing about that song is it's like 15 minutes long.
Oh, no, that's the good part.
You get to the end and you're like, man, I'm tired. This song's been going on forever, and it keeps on going for another 5 minutes.
Yep.
Good stuff. So today, what's your band of the day today?
My music today, I've kind of drifted back to the 1800s. I'm pretty deeply into Mozart. I have been for years. So
Wow.
He went back to the basics.
I went back to the basics. Yep.
No, it's Bach.
Yep. That's my current.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks for that, Brad.
Thanks, Fred.
Yep.
Corey.
Good morning.
Glad to see you, man.
You too. Yeah, Corey Hansen, Hot 100 Business. Got a 5X Now program with Ron Higgs, and I'm basically an investor in a couple of select companies, and our goal is to get a $100 million valuation as quickly as possible, and got some interesting companies going. Anyway, we're favorite band. I had to think. Oh, yeah. I was 18. I don't know why you keep going back to such young ages, but anyway, it was 18. I think it was Moody Blues.
It's called a midlife crisis, Corey.
Is that what it is? Yeah, I believe it. So Moody Blues, and then nowadays, when I wake up in the shower, I listen to something fun like Texas swing band, "Sleep at the Wheel."
Asleep at the Wheel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that one down. Cool. Yeah, very good, Corey. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks, guys.
The one and only Kurt Anderson.
Kurt Anderson.
What's happening today?
Good morning. So I have to give a huge good morning to everybody. Love everybody here. So my dear friend, Josh Curcio, for those of you that don't know Josh Curcio, we've been Josh business together for a long time, probably about 8-9 years or so. And when I met Josh, he's a business partner, Donnie. And I think, would you have 1 or 2 employees at the time? And now they're up to 20. And so we've spoke at each other's events for years. We've worked with clients together for years. And so you guys are in for a treat. He just spoke this week for Alibaba. And Damon and I, we did an e-commerce boot camp together. Ira's speaking next week for Alibaba. So Josh is a rock star. So Josh, welcome. Thank you for joining us. My e-commerce guy for manufacturers. 1986, I was a classic rock guy. I was a huge Doors guy. I was big into Jim Morrison, the Doors. And now, there's a band I love now, Cold War Kids. I'm a big Cold War Kids guy. So have a phenomenal Thursday, everybody. Josh, thank you for coming. Dr. E, you're next.
It's really hard to follow up Kurt Anderson, man. His love and passion, and he has the biggest heart. Like, really, I don't know anybody else who's like, when he makes comments on your post, they're so thoughtful. I mean, he doesn't just like something. I mean, it's heart.
Yeah.
Love you, Kurt. You know what? There's so many bands. It's like having to choose between which one's your favorite kid, right? I mean, obviously I grew up with the Beatles, but my favorite song growing up was Stairway to Heaven. I used to love that song. Born to Be Wild is another great one, but Stairway to Heaven was like, epic. And now I think, I really love, I'm going back to like Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. It could be Christmas season. I don't know. I love Hallelujah. It's so meaningful. It's so deep. So I'm a happiness expert, corporate wellness, international keynote speaker, and I can't wait for 2021 for this pandemic to slow down enough so I get to travel again and to go across the pond and share happiness and wellness with organizations. Obviously, with this new year, with Coach Khan and I learning how to navigate a crisis and sharing that with organizations as we're dealing with multiple crises. So love you guys. Love being here. Merry Christmas. Are we having another meeting or is this our last one?
We have another one next week.
Okay, I'll save the Merry Christmas for next week then. All right.
Cybersecurity next week.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thanks,
Dr.
Dr. Delia.
Jacob.
Yeah. So, what was my favorite? Well, first off, Jacob with Warren Research, we do IT services for businesses, help them keep it simple. I had to go back and really think about when I was 18 and think about what band, because there was a lot of different music that was out at that time. And honestly, I'd have to say my most favorite from that time frame was Nirvana.
There you go.
And then,
actually,
Smells like Teen Spirit.
What my favorite was for nowadays, believe it or not, is Jack Johnson. For some reason, it's just that whole chill. That's he's been my favorite nowadays. So
yeah,
interesting how it changes over the years.
No doubt.
Been waiting for Jennifer Wegman. Want to hear it?
Thanks, Jacob.
No problem.
So hi everybody, I'm Jennifer. I am a social media strategist and done for you content writer. I write social media content, custom content, and blogs for people, entrepreneurs and small businesses who are overwhelmed, frustrated, or too busy to do it themselves. And my favorite band when I was 18 and my favorite band now is the same, Matchbox 20.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
very, very popular.
I was once second row center for a Matchbox 20 concert, so that was like the highlight.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. Pretty simple.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Con, what do you have going on today? Let's hear about you and your bands.
Good morning, everybody. Now, I'm a little bit older than Jennifer, so I'm going to go a little bit further back than that. And I'm going to switch gears on all of the rockers out there. I'm going to go at the time, I really loved listening to Rufus and Chaka Khan. I'm going Ain't Nobody.
Wow.
Funk style.
Come on.
So I'm going that way. So that was a good time. It was right before I went into the military. So that was a good time. It was fun. Now, what do I do now? I am a change management, change leadership, and performance improvement expert. I am the owner of Fresh Biz Solutions, an HR consulting firm. And my area of contribution to my clients, mostly mid-cap companies, is to help them improve performance, manage change by managing and supporting them in the areas of purpose, process, and people. So I touch all of those areas for my clients, and I help them make a difference so they can achieve their goals.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here today, Khan. And Shaka Khan, man, that's going back there. Mark, awesome to see you today.
Good morning, everybody. Band-wise, for me, it's Pink Floyd. I just think they, pushed the envelope and went off on just some really interesting things that just add so much to music. So I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, particularly Dark Side of the Moon, but pretty much everything they do. As far as what I do, I help businesses with retention and succession planning. I help individuals protecting their income and assets against inflation, taxes, themselves, their own bad behaviors. I do that as a financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual using their investment insurance products.
Very good. Yep. I remember Pink Floyd, Mile High Stadium in the mid-90s sometime. They played Money in there. I will never, ever forget the way that sounded. Yeah, I'll never, ever forget that. Because I remember two things about that. The sound, and I reached down and touched the ground where John Elway played on the 50-yard line, which I don't know why. I'm not a big Denver fan, but I thought it was cool. So awesome stuff, Mark. Thanks.
And he was high at a mile high.
Yeah, it was probably. There's plenty of smoke in that place. Michael, great to see you today.
Hey, good to be seen. Michael Godlewski with Achievement Unlimited. I'm a growth catalyst. I work as an irritant with my clients to help them scale their business and grow their people. I help them develop the leadership skills, the communication skills. We do that through a number of tools and assessments, some online KPI dashboard tracking stuff. Anyway, my favorite band, like Mark, it was Pink Floyd and Fleetwood Mac. It's a tie between the two, but since Mark took Pink Floyd, I'm going to take Fleetwood Mac. and I was just going through some tickets that I had laying around in a box.
Wow.
Fleetwood Mac, $14.29 for that ticket, right? So you saw
And that was
Fleetwood
more
Mac
money.
2 years ago in Philly, $300 a seat.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So things have gone up a little in 40 years.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, and great to see you here today, Michael.
Good seeing you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Michael Southworth, first-time visitor, I believe, right?
Yep. Finally made it. I keep sending the invites.
Very good. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you're helping people, and then we get to the all-important question of the day.
Great. Thanks. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy to be here. I'm Michael, and at my company, I'm another e-commerce guy. We do marketing, advertising, and we're building some software tools for e-commerce brands and agencies. And my favorite band, it's so hard to pull, and I was going to go with Metallica, but then I was really loved Ozzy for a lot of years. And then, Queensryche, I was a guitar player. So the musicality and the technicality, that was just, I really was drawn to bands like that with huge talent and lots of harmonies and things going on. So that's it. Nowadays, Angels and Airwaves, I think would have to be my biggest, if any of you heard of it. The lead singer Tom DeLonge from Blink 182. He's had probably at least 5 different bands and things that he's done, I just love it's just really good energy and positive, flow. So it's
very cool.
I like to just sometimes I have a very short drive from my house down the street to my office, and I'll just try to get to it quick on my phone. Get the Pandora, my Angels and Airwaves station, so I can hear half a song on the way in just to get me juiced up. It's good.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, you'd never have enough volume when Metallica's playing Enter Sandman, and Blink 182 has got some really good songs. I used to add when I wakeboarded, we always blasted that.
Yeah.
Always blasted that.
Yeah,
good
perfect.
stuff. Thanks for being here, Michael.
Thank you.
Pete, how are you doing today?
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for pulling me up. What do I do? So I help hard driving leaders better protect their health and handle challenging situations with grace through very simple to implement stress relief activities. When I was 18, that would have been Huey Lewis in the news. I really enjoyed their music. Went to a couple of their concerts. Actually, went to one of their concerts not too long ago. Actually, they're playing. They're on the downside of their career. They're playing in some of the state and county fairs now.
Yeah.
And what's funny? Going retro actually for if I'm going to choose something, I've actually gotten back into Kool and the Gang. I really like the upbeat stuff that they play, and so. And I went to see when they're playing the county fairs as well. And I think that was the most fun concert I've ever been to.
You go to Reno and see Cool.
There you go.
Yeah, awesome, Pete. Thanks for being here today.
You bet.
All right, Ron, great having you here today.
Wrap it up, Ron. Come on.
Great to be here. So, Ron Higgs, I'm in Seattle. A fractional COO, but I am looking for my next opportunity somewhere in operations. This music thing is hard. I'm going to tell you why, right? Because I'm a hip hop fan. Hip hop was kind of in its infancy, when I was 18, maybe a little bit past its infancy, right? So there are so many small little groups that they've all just kind of disappeared. But I remember just kind of that music just coming along and just starting to get popular. And, I have to say it, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan, as well. Nowadays, my music taste is evolved quite a bit, right? So now I like reggae music. So Slightly Stupid is a good band. I mean, they can't go wrong with these guys. Mellow. Ironically, I don't think any of them were even born.
Yeah.
When I was 18. So love that music because reggae music always makes me feel like I'm on vacation. Like Jimmy Buffett music. I've become a Jimmy Buffett fan too, right? How can you listen to Jimmy Buffett music and not be put in a good mood like you're on vacation?
It's easier to be in a good mood if you're listening to Jimmy Buffett and have maybe a margarita.
That's for sure. Hey, let me add something here. So finally, Damon, you guys are gonna love this. So I finally got a chance to meet Damon in person over the weekend. So we had more than a couple of beers together.
It was 2.5.
Got to meet his wife. We had a great time. So it felt like I had known him for years, which I had.
Yeah,
So
it's funny.
finally, we got a chance to meet.
It was great. We had a lot of fun.
Professor Pete, next time we will give you a call. And you can come over and
Ron,
share.
let me ask you a question. Okay, so you've known Damon for years. You meet with him,
or a couple of years.
Yeah, you meet with Damon all the time virtually. Anything that surprised you?
Well, his wife, right? Because the generosity of women will never cease to amaze.
And she's never.
Andrew's met her, so he knows.
Just kidding. I actually had a great time meeting his wife, but you know what? Maybe I guess I say he's taller than I thought.
Okay.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Cool. It was fun though, man. And next time we do have to get Pete because Pete can walk off the ferry to where we were. Yeah. It's good stuff.
All right. Thanks, guys, for bringing me on. See you.
Okay, that's it.
We got to get Andrew Deutsch back up. Andrew wasn't able to give us his bands.
Yeah,
we got to listen to his bands.
Andrew, come back up, brother. I thought he did for some reason.
When I was 18, number one was sort of a toss-up between either Frank Zappa or Jethro Tull.
Oh, the Zapper.
When I became friends with Zappa's kid, I told him that he didn't know that his dad raised me. So that was fun. I was the brother they never talked about.
Yeah.
And lately, my go-to is a rockabilly player, the Reverend Horton Heat.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I've actually seen them.
I've seen him like 10 times.
They played at Sturgis a lot at their bike rally, and that's where I saw him a couple times. I think
he is the perfect psychobilly rock show. If you've never seen a perfect show, any night, guaranteed.
Yeah, cool. Thanks a lot, Andrew.
Ira.
If we didn't get you, raise your hand. But now we're to the people that are on stage. So, Andrew Cross, you're the top center. Let's see what you got to say.
Pretty eclectic taste in music I have. So, but back when I was 18, I was listening to The Who, really into them, Stones, Genesis, and then kind of fell into. So probably by the time I was 18, I was listening to Tom Collins and The Air at Night. That kind of stuff was great. Nowadays, a lot of different things, but kind of like an EDM. I listen to Atmosphere, LCD Sound System, Rufus Dahl Soul. Saw some concerts out here, so my kids are late 20s, so I just kind of into it.
Cool,
like that stuff. Yeah,
good stuff. Man. Good stuff, man. So, Ira, where are you at with that?
So when I was 18, I was mostly country. So I would have to say Travis Tritt would have been my favorite at the time. Maybe if I was 18, I would answer a little different, but just thinking back, I think Travis Tritt. I have a couple that I really like right now. It's mostly like Christian music. So I don't know if anybody would know a Big Daddy Weave, but Big Daddy Weave is probably my favorite. For country genre, I'd probably stick with like George Strait, something more classic like that.
Oh, awesome!
So
I saw George Strait a number of years ago in Vegas, and man, he's a legend. He's a freaking country legend.
Well, it's just like song after song after song, and you go, how many number ones does the guy have? It's kind of like country band Alabama for the longest time. Every song was a hit. It's like, all right,
yeah, good.
Guys put on some amazing shows.
Yep. Well, Josh, where are we at here with you on the music?
For me, my music. So this is actually a pretty easy one. So 311 was my favorite band back when I was 18 and still my favorite band today. I saw them live. I've seen them about 16, 17 times, but I saw them live the first time when I was maybe 16 or 17. and I just saw them again last year. We had plans to go this year, but those plans changed. So that's an easy one. I love some of the answers though.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't get a Van Halen.
Yeah, that was kind of the 80s deal. That was kind of the 80s deal.
I guess we didn't have a lot of people that didn't, because if you'd asked me in elementary school, I would have said Van Halen all day.
Yeah, I did. I had friends in high school that were doing the Van Halen and Motley Crue kind of thing.
Yeah,
and some of the other bands. There was a lot of that music.
Yeah.
Well, that's
interesting.
I really like
make it as entrepreneurs and business owners. They're a different type of worker, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
good question.
And it's funny for me, Josh, is I used to listen to 311 a lot. All Mixed Up is one of my favorites. I know it was a popular one, but it's just it's got the way the drums are playing in the back and the way it's kind of a mixed up tune, like the sound or the title, but it's good. But for me, when I was 18, it would be AC/DC. I mean, there was just nothing else.
That's another one. Yeah.
Everybody in that time in the early 80s, man, you were if you didn't have AC/DC, Highway to Hell came out in 82 or something like that. Yeah. And then that just changed the world in rock and roll. And those guys, until they started dying off here a few years ago, I mean, they're still making music 15 years ago, I think. Yeah. But that was one. And then now I actually, we've got I was looking it up because my daughter was showing me my 2020 playlist on Spotify because they compiled it. And I actually listened to Zach Brown Band, of all things, the most this year.
I like Chicken Fried.
Chicken Fried. That's actually the song because my son has put together playlists and stuff, and I've got some playlists. But I've switched into country a little bit, but I'll listen to the 311s, the Metallicas, and that kind of stuff too because I've got different playlists. But I listen to probably 4 to 8 hours of music a week, so it's just playing all the time. And but country now, I connect with the stories.
Yep.
I'll be listening to the lyrics, man. And I never, when I was young, obviously, I didn't do that. But, man, the connection to the stories that they tell is what I enjoy about it. So, anyway, enough of that diversion. But I think it's fun because we get to know people better. And it really does. It does make it, it's just fun, I think. So, now, without further ado, we're going to have Josh talk to us a bit about inbound marketing and how he's helping people. Take it away, Josh. He's getting ready.
All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Sure can.
Awesome. First of all, I want to thank Kurt for the kind words. Always willing to share some kind words about people. I love that about him. Thank you to Ira, Damon, Andrew for having me here. It's awesome what you guys do every week, and happy to be a part of it when I can. All right, so I'm going to talk as little as I can. I want to hear your questions. This is such a smart group of people that I don't know that I'm going to teach you a whole lot, but I want to be able to answer any questions or concerns, thoughts, whatever you guys have. So just a little bit more about me. I'm COO and partner at Protocol 80 Inc. We work primarily with manufacturing companies. We've been in business since 2002. So in the digital space, we're like dinosaurs. It doesn't mean we stop learning and stop improving, but we've been around a while. And as Kurt mentioned, for a long time, we were 2-3 people. Now I think we have 17, 18, getting close to that 20 number. I'm a HubSpot certified trainer, HubSpot user group leader in Rochester, New York. I'm a HubSpot community champion. Now, more importantly, maybe outside of work. On Strava, follow me, Josh Curcio. On Peloton, Josh Likes His Crime. Do we have any other Peloton people here? I'd love to get some more Peloton connections. So if you do ride the Peloton, toss your username in. And then Untapped. So I know some of you guys are on Untapped. Let's share some cheers via Untapped and on Yelp. All right, enough about me. What I plan to talk about today, just what is inbound, show some real life examples of how we're helping some manufacturing companies. Talk about, does it actually work? Give you some points of caution to think about if you're not doing inbound or maybe you're trying inbound and it's not working. And then, as I mentioned, some questions and answers. So some of you may have seen this slide before. Damon, you've probably seen this. Kurt, I know you have. Inbound is really buyer centric. It's all about your prospects, your customers, the people that you need to sell to. It's not about what you want to talk about. It's not about your history. It's not just all about you. It's about them and the problems that they're facing. Because when we have problems or we have opportunities today, we can go to the internet, search for it, and find solutions and find help there. Inbound is all about being there and being in front of them and answering those questions. So what is it? Really we're looking at this. This is kind of the new model, looking at the flywheel, where we know that our customers can help us get new work, get referrals, and so on and so forth. But it comes down to attracting strangers, engaging prospects, so getting those strangers essentially to raise their hand and say, I'm looking at this, I've got a problem, I need some help. Turning those people that are raising their hand into customers, and then turning those customers into raving fans of yours and promoters and being that great referral source. And that's ultimately how we try to help, or how people using inbound should be trying to help grow their businesses. So what are some of the tools that kind of play the parts there? As far as attracting strangers, you've got your ads, blogging, social media content. I'll get into a little bit more of that. As far as engagement, you've got your email marketing, lead management, conversational bots. One point on engagement there and email marketing and working with manufacturers is a lot of these contract manufacturers, their customers are other manufacturers, and they have no reason to go to their websites all the time, right? So they're like, well, we could be getting more work from this customer or this customer. They just don't know we do it, or they don't know we have that capability or capacity. They don't know that because they're not coming to your website. They're not engaging with you on a regular basis. Through email marketing, through content creation and blogging, they're able to increase re-engagement and not only pick up work from new customers, new prospects, but bring on new lines or new products from their existing customers, which it's much easier to sell an existing customer than it is to find someone brand new and sell to them. And then delight. So just reducing as much friction as possible in your overall sales process and how you work with customers, delivering success, transparency, delivering results. Those people will become fans and a referral source. So inbound, at least how we approach inbound, is very content driven. And when I say content, that's blog posts, that's video content, that's website content, ebooks, white papers, all of that stuff. But when we break out content, we look at the funnel approach again. TOFU means top of funnel. That's like your content that you write that's relevant to a lot of different people. It's relevant to your customers, but it's probably relevant to, thousands and thousands, millions of other people as well that will never be your customers. But it's still important to have that type of content because that's what feeds some of the website traffic and attracting some of those strangers. Because sometimes when you get too specific, those people that are your potential prospects, they don't know what to look for, but when they're researching, they start out on that broad level just because they don't know their options yet, right? So that's top of funnel, the broad level. In the manufacturing space, that's the one area that's super difficult to get a manufacturer to talk about. They're really good about talking about themselves and their capabilities and the machines they have and how many parts they can produce and whatever. Getting them to talk about the high level stuff is a challenge. Middle of the funnel content, that's where all right, it's more specific to the problems that people are solving. You're starting to hone in on here's my solution. When we talk about manufacturing, for example, you might start talking about specific types of metal manufacturing or specific metals that you could be using in building those products, as opposed to just the manufacturing process itself. And then bottom of funnel. So bottom of funnel content is still important, and that's when it's about our customers, or our partners, or your businesses. You only will appeal to a certain audience at that point, the ones that have a short list of who's going to fix this problem for me. That's when they care about bottom of the funnel content. Historically, that's where people live, in bottom of the funnel. Easy to write about yourself, to talk about yourself, do videos about yourself, okay? But we have to have that whole scope there, all of it. We can break that down a little bit further into when someone's researching versus when someone's weighing their options versus when someone's trying to find their vendor or their whatever, whoever they're going to do business with. In the awareness stage, we're looking at things like the blogs, like ebooks. It's purely educational and it's free. And you want to be really helping to educate and make those people that are researching be able to help find the answers that they want. What we don't want to do is give a little bit, like a tiny little bit, and just be like, sorry, I'm not going to give you the rest of it. You have to contact me for the rest of it. There's a certain element of that, but when you start to turn a prospect away at that point, they're just going to go find it elsewhere on the internet. So that broad level, we have to give all the information we can. In consideration stage, that's where we break that down a little bit more, get a little bit more specific. And then at maybe that point, you can be like, you know what, it's a little bit difficult for me to explain how we could tailor this to you. At that point, maybe we should talk a little bit more about it. And then decision stage, that's again where they have their short list. They're trying to figure out who is the best provider to help me with my opportunity, fix my problem, so on and so forth. But again, it's not just content. There's a lot of other things that come into play with inbound. And one of the important things to remember is inbound itself is not a tactic. And most of these things here won't work alone when we're talking about a considered purchase, right? Something that you have to think about before you buy. So when we're implementing an inbound strategy, we're looking at all of these different tactics that may come into play at some point in time. Search engine optimization, social media, email marketing, marketing automation. All of these will come into play at some point, but there's not really a magic formula of you need to do X at this time, you need to do this many blog posts, you need to invest this much in paid. It's different for every business, but it's not just about content. So let's talk about a real life example. This is Horizon Technology. To most people, their industry is probably super, super boring. It's powder metal. Some of you may know some things about powder metal, but most of you probably didn't even know that metals made from powder even existed, right? So these guys are a powder metal manufacturer. There's a lot of them in the world, but they have a specific niche in powder metal with soft magnetic composites. So like the materials that make up their components that they make have a magnetic factor to them. So they come into play with like high performance engines, electric motors, so on and so forth. So what you see here on the left side is their blog post listings. These are all like just educational information about powder metal and about soft magnetic composites, right? It's giving the information, it's not trying to sell the business. This is what a specific blog post would look like, right? So if you're an engineer in, GM or somewhere, you're going to care about these numbers. Majority of people aren't going to care about those numbers. I don't know what those numbers mean, but somebody cares about that and somebody's looking for that information, right? So you write the information that people are looking for. And then from there, you're saying, all right, well, we have more information about this if you need it. On this right side here, there's what we call a call to action. It's a beginner's guide to soft magnetic composites. So this would be for someone that maybe is even an intern that's researching for an engineer. Maybe it's a junior level engineer. But it's just more information. And if they want it, they can say, hey, I want this. Send it to me via email. They give their email address. And now Horizon knows who that person is. Or someone's in the process of designing something. And this could be anyone from a junior level engineer to a doctor of metallurgy, right? But they're designing something and they're not experts at soft magnetic composites. Most people aren't. That's where they come into this like middle of funnel offer where they're offering, say, hey, you have questions about your design. Let's bring one of our engineers. We'll talk. We'll see what we can do to help you through whatever stumbling block you're at that point, right? So there's two pieces there, the attract, which is the blog post, and the engage, which are these calls to action. When they click one of those calls to action, it takes them to a landing page where they can then give their name and their email address. One nice thing about inbound is if you continue to create new content and new offers, you can start asking different questions. So we're keeping it pretty basic here with name and email, but the next time they engage with the website, the next time they download something else or re-download this, we'll ask them a different question, maybe their job title. maybe their next project using PM, something like that. It's called progressive profiling. But then we also, as I mentioned, want to have some bottom of funnel type of content when someone cares. Like, hey, I'm researching soft magnetic composites, but who can help me with this? So we also continue to write and offer the bottom of funnel content about Horizon. So this is a capabilities guide that somebody can have emailed to them. And you see that we're starting to ask industry in this case. So how do people get there, right? We're creating this content, but how do people get there? Well, through email is one way, right? You've got an email database, send it to them. Through social media, some people have a social following. There's influencers out there. You can get them through social. One of the ways that we really strive to achieve traffic and visibility is through organic search. So in this case, someone searches for powdered metal for electric motor, right? Horizon is the first one. In this case, this person's probably searching, how do we build whatever electric motor? We want Horizon to show in that case. Then as they kind of dig into it a little bit, they might search for soft magnetic composites. Again, Horizon is the first result here for soft magnetic composites, and this is a blog post, okay? The cool thing about this, I love this screenshot because Höganäs is a huge company, and GKN is like one of the biggest powder metal companies in the world, and they are ranking above GKN. Awesome. Yeah. And Horizon's a small business, right? It's cool. All right, so does it work? So these are just screenshots of 3 different manufacturing companies because, again, we primarily work with manufacturers. I'm not giving you any information here specific to which one's which, but they're different industries in the manufacturing world. We see here that it goes out slow, goes slow, goes slow. Most of these people are starting with less than 100 visitors a month, 200 visitors a month. In this case, this company last month got almost 10,000 visits, mostly from organic search, which is green. Same here, they started out very low. We're maintaining over 10,000 visitors a month. Last month they had about 11,000. And here, starting probably about 1,000. Last month, over 15,000, and they've been maintaining that, again, mostly from organic search. So you might be saying, all right, well, traffic, that's not enough. Contacts or conversions, leads, follow those same path. Most of these companies were not generating anything from their website prior to starting inbound. Nothing. Like maybe some people trying to sell them SEO from overseas. That would be the type of contacts or conversions they would get. But now they're starting to be able to generate conversions and leads so salespeople can have conversations. More importantly, what about customers, right? We can track back and say, all right, well, these types of things are driving customers. And these are smaller numbers, but we're talking about part production and contract manufacturing where that contract is a year long, potentially multiple years long, as opposed to selling a widget. So closing one contract is a big deal, okay? And we're seeing that organic in both of these cases is one of the highest driving avenues for customers for both of these manufacturing companies. Great to see inbound digital, whatever digital path it is, you can track all of that today with tools. Things to be aware of. Again, as I mentioned, inbound's not a tactic, it's a strategic approach. It consists of a bunch of things. It's not a marathon, or it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. It takes time. As you saw in the screenshots, some of those people took 18 months before they started seeing significant growth, but the impact was compounding. It grew and grew and grew once it started to have that growth. It's an investment. It's either going to be a financial investment or a time investment if you plan to do it in-house. And sales can't be the old school legacy salespeople that they have been in the past. They have to shift to adjust to that inbound lead mindset and help to continue to educate and have conversations. You have to have buy-in from the top down. If your marketing manager wants to do this, great. If they don't have buy-in from the CEO, it's not going to last. It might last for 6 months until the CEO is like, well, I don't know if this is really working, and then they cut the budget on that, right? It requires, to do it right, requires some form of marketing software and a CRM. We're HubSpot people, but there's other softwares out there. last one, most importantly, if you're going to half-ass it, you might as well not do it at all because you're not going to see the results. This was fitting. We got Freddie Mercury here in our conversation. Favorite band. Awesome. All right, so that's it. That's all I had. I know it's quick. We want to get you guys out on time, but I want to answer questions.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. I just really appreciate you sharing that because there's so many takeaways, and people on LinkedIn in the chat here, go ahead and start firing some questions at Josh. But the way that you laid out the top of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel, and showed the example, I think was really cool. Understanding manufacturing, it's where we work a lot of the time, was really interesting, and how that's a wide-ranging information down into the really specific information at the bottom. And then the other thing that clicked is what you said right at the end, because I was actually talking about it the other day, is that you really can't let your traditional sales just roll along as they always were when you have this strategy, because they have to understand what's going on and how it's affecting the overall sales process and how you've integrated the two.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we have to cringe because we have insight into the emails that salespeople are sending to their contacts, to their leads, because it's in the CRM. And you look at someone that's in the early stages and doing some research, and you can tell from their inquiry that that's what they're doing. They need some answers. But the sales rep on the other end is just like, I want to sell you something. They're just jumping all over. We just want to get to an RFQ as quickly as possible. It doesn't work. It turns people away and there's no response.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how they were up ahead of GKN. And that's so much. That's so there. So for anybody not to get in, in a small manufacturer or something like that. I mean, you can't do that really in other industries, but to pull ahead of that's a Fortune 50 company. It's huge. You have the ability to do that, but in these technical markets. But
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So Allison's got a question here. It says, what do you say to prospective manufacturing clients who question the ROI of spending money on creating content and diving into social media?
Yeah, so it's a lot through education and through examples. At least from our experience, manufacturers want to see what has worked for other manufacturers. So showing them the data, showing them case studies always help. But we also, on every sales process for us, go into an ROI discovery. Like, is ROI possible? Because if it's not possible, if we're not going to achieve it in a time frame that's acceptable for you, we're not going to be a good partnership for you, and we shouldn't work together. So we will dive into things as to, like, what does that look like from a sales perspective? Can you close enough in a timely amount or in an amount of time where it makes sense for us to work together, and go through and actually work the numbers as much as possible? Now, there's no guarantees there, but it's helpful to dig in and dive in and say, if we can give your salespeople these types of leads, what can they close? And if you're investing at this level, what's that return look like if you're maintaining margins? The social question is always so much more difficult for manufacturing people. LinkedIn is kind of the space where we talk and spend most of our time talking about social media with manufacturing companies. The other ones, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you can be there, but the connections just aren't going to be as great. It's almost just like an outlet to help spread the word and share.
Yeah. Corey had another good question. He said, what ROI range do you project for customers?
Oh, gosh. That's a really tough question with contract manufacturing, because one job can be $250,000. It can be multiple millions of dollars. So in most cases for our clients, our ideal business, one contract pays for multiple years of our marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What size firms are you working with, Josh? Do you have a
We're mostly small business to mid-market. Most of our manufacturers are 10 million in revenue a year, up to 100 million maybe, but they're mostly smaller.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the unique thing about your kind of client is one sale is millions of dollars. It's similar to when I was working in the molding. We would do a contract with Puridenzo, and it might be a $10 million contract 1 year.
Renewable.
What's that?
And it's renewable. Revenue.
Yeah, it's renewable. Yeah, and it's multi-year or those kind of things, or that's where you can spend these dollars on this kind of stuff because one lead. But most manufacturers, how many do you go to now? The clients that you're talking to. The question just came in my head. How many times do you go to a client that reaches out to you that's that $10 million manufacturer, and you start by looking at their website and you just go, oh my God.
Gosh, almost every one of them.
Every one of them, yeah.
Almost every one of them.
Yeah.
And they know it. It's not shocking to them. They're embarrassed by it, and they don't even want to send their website to people when they're talking in sales conversations. 2020 has been such an interesting year. It sucked in a lot of ways, right? But it's driving manufacturers to do things differently from what they've always done. They now know we don't have to be on site every time we have a sales meeting. We can use Zoom and we'll survive.
Yeah.
We need our website to work for us as opposed to just relying on manufacturers reps or our sales team. We need it. It's been interesting. And CRM only is people are finally saying, yeah, we could probably use a CRM.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Well, it's been awesome to have you. I'm so grateful for you to come and share with us, Josh. Man, I've heard you speak a couple times.
You guys.
You're the knowledge you're sharing, man, is so good, dude. It's so cool. So cool. So we're here at 8:55. Andrew, Ira, you got anything more to add before we go back to the tables?
No, you did a great job.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Get your Christmas shopping done. That's all I can.
Josh Curcio, Protocol 80 on the Exit Your Way Roundtable. Hey, we're going to be back here next Thursday talking about cybersecurity, practical cybersecurity, not just the technical details, with Ron Craig and Jacob Warren. Looking for some good stuff there. Going back to the tables now, shutting down on LinkedIn Live. Thanks for being with us on the LinkedIn Live.
Music.
And the music is going.